Hello, my name is Beatrice Bolger. I'm originally from Kenya, and today my topic will be to spark. Having to come from a background of a science university like TEDxUSciences, so for me, the spark, I decided to give it my own meaning. So S is for science, P is for progress, A is for academic, R is for the results when you get your grades, and K is for knowledge. I picked those things because they are relevant to what I'll be speaking on. But not to go so far, I will introduce myself and say where I come from. Originally, I come from Kenya, born and raised. I am from a small village in Kakamega. I come from the Bunyore tribe, and I love being me. So I'll start when I was a kid. I come from a family of 8. I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters plus me. I was a middle child. And as I found out later on, middle children have middle child syndrome, of which I didn't know, but I embraced it. When I was young, my life was the best. I cannot complain and lie and say that I came from poverty, just like how it's reflected everywhere. No, I wasn't. I went to beautiful schools. I went to Kilimani Primary. I went to High Ridge Primary. I even went to school in Machakos. I went to Machakos Primary, and finally I had to go to Pangani Girls and then St. Mary's. Later on, I ended up in Kenya Polytechnic, and that's where I'll start my story from when I was young. When I was young, life was sweet. Life was beautiful. Everything was just dilly-dally. We were allowed to go out and play after we finished chores in the house. My mom was very particular, but surprisingly, we always had house help. And my mom used to say that even if there's house help in the house, we should learn how to do certain things. As a little girl, it was so frustrating to wash my little socks and just to make myself neat and do things that I need to do as a child. In those days, we made our own dolls, like you all have Barbie dolls. We made our own original dolls. And the dolls were so funny looking, but to us, we thought they were dolls. After that, when we grew a little bigger, we started making our life more interesting. We used to go and play, games that all children play. We played many games that were so fantastic, and we were so creative in our days. We were so creative in such a way that we would make a game last forever. We knew how to use stones and one ball, and we had 2 teams, Team A and Team B. So what we did is we played the game, and we would try to put stones that cannot be put together until we called the game 7 stones. We would play with the 7 stones, and every time we ran around, we played the game the whole day. I had talked earlier about my love for languages. So this one is the one that I'm going to entertain you all so that you can laugh your heads off. I had gone to the market with my girlfriend. I had a beautiful girlfriend of mine. Her name is Betty. And when we went to the market, she used to speak very nice Luo. Luo is President Obama's father's language. And I was wondering, you know what? Maybe I should try to speak this language, because how come every time I go, they're talking the language and making, me feel a kind of a way. So I started picking up on the language very well. There was another time I was just here in the United States, and I had a friend of mine, the sister had brought like artifacts from Tanzania, and they wanted to sell it to us. So I just went to her place, but I think she didn't know that I know Luo language. And she starts saying, This one, we are going to charge her a little higher than what the actual price is. And I looked at her and I replied in the dialect. I said, I am not going to buy. If you're not going to sell for me in the original price that it's originally sold, I don't think I am going to buy it. And she was so shocked because maybe because she knew that, yes, I come from Kenya, and yes, I speak Kinyore, she thought I could not speak Keluo. But people get surprised when I can switch from one language to another. To be patient, to persevere, to endure, and just to look forward to do anything is something that is inbuilt and something that you grow with. I started going to read and study in the library when I was 13 years old. My dad was sick and tired of me going out and playing and just fighting around and just not acting like a girl and coming in the house. I'm not looking like a beauty. I'm just looking like a rough. I would climb the trees. I would go and try to fight where necessary. And that was life then. So my dad, he just thought that I was a brilliant little girl, but I just used to like to play a lot. So one time he decided to make sure that I'm paying attention on my education. And so he said, my young lady, dress up well, I will drive with you and then we can go to the library. And I know you like the Enid Blyton books, so you can be able to read them. So I went and took a couple of chances with Daddy, and I just loved it. And he told me to, you know, my beautiful daughter, when you go to the library, maybe you will not be liking just to put on, you know, shorts and you don't want to dress like a girl. Maybe you will pick up something from the ladies because the librarians are usually dressed well. So at age 13, I started knowing how important it is for people to study. And then I was curious. I wondered how they put the books back on the shelves. And I would go and ask the ladies at the desk and say, can I know how to place back the books? And they would say, okay, we're going to show you. And then I started just being good with this. But I didn't know when I had just finished my high school, an opportunity came by and an opportunity opened for me to go to Kenya Polytechnic to work in the Kenya Polytechnic Library. It was very fun to work there. The people there were very nice, and you know, I was around college students for a while, and I also got an opportunity to go to London. I studied, you know, at Thames Polytechnic. What I just found out is I'm usually surrounded with students, and students are just the best people you could have around you. When I was working at the JW England Library, I have seen the way the students here, they come. I'm an evening supervisor before, and then I became an evening coordinator, and we would stay with the students. Then they would study until 12. Sometimes we had extended hours until 2 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes over finals we would help in just opening the library until morning. But that was just a courtesy being given for us to do. But that didn't mean that the way the students here, they pay attention on their majors. The majors are very complicated, and what I like about them, they're just like me. They work so hard, and the curriculums are very vigorous. And what I do with them when they are working, because they've given their title library student workers, but it's called work study. So I'm always an annoying mommy, and I tell them, you're not going to study. I want you to study. I want you to make the grades, you know, make us proud, because your parents are not here. Now I'm going to be your parent here. Make sure that your homework is done. And they've been doing a good job. And in any case, if you find the student work workers who work in the library or anybody who has been connected to me, either they have 1, 2, or 3 jobs. They volunteer, and I tell them to stretch themselves and not to be whiners. And I also encourage them to look out for the school. I always tell them that when you graduate and you make the big money, please don't forget to donate to the university, and then what? Claim it as a tax at the beginning of the year. And I always emphasize and tell them, take your studies very serious. As I'm their library mother and also their counselor, I have so many hats to deal with this, my lovely students. I also tell them now, after you have donated and taken it as a tax, whatever, next year bring money and add on campus. And also I told them not to be whining and complaining and saying, oh, my professor is not good. No, let me tell you, I tell them, the professor is not someone that you can say is supposed to be good. The professor is your teacher. They have already given you and blessed you with the syllabus. They have given you the title of the books that you're going to use in class. And even they bless you with lecture caption, something that we never even had in our life. They've given you all those things. Your work is to find a solution to study and make the grade. And so what, even if you get a C on one exam, go and talk to your teacher, make the study group, make sure you have friends who take academic a serious issue. I have been privileged to not only work in the library, but also to be a professor. And that is one thing that makes me unique. I have been a professor at University of Pennsylvania, a professor at Community College of Philadelphia, and also a professor at University of Miami online. I also did a middle school. And everybody else. I am an advisor of International Society and an advisor of Culture Shock, my dance group, and OS. So those groups, they come together with different perspectives. The girls in the dance group, they go and showcase different cultures using music from Africa, Caribbean, and if they can embrace, they also embrace other cultures of the world if you come in. But now for International Society, we had decided that everybody has to stop the ignorance of not knowing where everybody is coming from. Just because I come from Kenya, I will not be able to answer questions about Nigeria or even South Africa, because that is where I was not ethnically raised that way. So the International Society just brings back cultures from all over the world. Plus, even you can be born in New Jersey and you have your own type of thing that you embrace in New Jersey. Like I know they have beautiful apples in New Jersey. They have their beautiful shores. If you go to New York, they have their pizza, and then they have all the malls and everything. So everybody comes in with a different culture, but from different ways. So my students have formed different groups on campus and also collaborated with everybody. This I would like to say because we have done collaborations with Community College of Philadelphia and Penn, and our own students from TEDxUSciences who go to study abroad. And that brought just a different thing that we could not even believe, that students can put things together and make it successful. To me, diversity is very important. And, you know, cultural awareness in terms of learning other people's culture and background, to me, has always led me to be who I am. Remember, I was this young, light-skinned child, and sometimes, you know, going to different schools, my father just realized that he cannot put me in just regular schools at the beginning, because the kids would want to bully me, but that did not even work. But he decided to take me to schools that were accommodating to all cultures, instead of just like regular public schools. And that is what made me realize that it's really important to have culture awareness. where I was brought up, we use color when we are going to the market to buy, like, yellow bananas, green vegetables. That's when we use the color. But anybody can choose what color they want to be. I have my friends who, if you ask them, they don't know whether they are white, green, yellow, or blue, and which is a good thing to know. But also, for me, I like when everybody just agrees with each other and there's no tension because of racial biases. And that's why most of the time I would advise my nice students, and this is coming straight from my heart, so that they, instead of losing good friends that they would have made for life, they start having barriers because of background or religion or where they come from. I have really made important friends that come from various backgrounds. I don't choose where you come from. You can be white, you can be black, you can be yellow, red, whatever color you choose. Sometimes I think my color is blue. Students have learned how to diversify and be together and study together, because in the library, when I see them, they're just like a big family. And that is one thing that has made me happy as one of the workers at the university.